And hello, everyone. Well, it is still December the 19th, 2025, here in Southern California, where we are almost approaching midnight. And my name is Crystal Myers-Barber. I know you haven't seen me in a while. I'm so happy to be back. My business has been so just booming, just we Trump economy. I thank praise the Lord, thank God, thank Jesus, praise Jesus. Um, my business, I have worked so much in my last quarter. You just haven't seen me much, and so this is just like a volunteer type thing I do. My day job is what pays my way, and congratulations to me. I have a brand new computer, and so no more lag, no more problems. And so if you've seen my videos in the past, this was always an issue. So anyway, getting right to it. We are having an immense weather situation over here, and I recorded a video. I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel. The fog is just not going away, and it's staying around like day and night, and it's making people sick. They are calling it radiation fog here in Southern California, which does not have radiation in it. But we're getting every single day weather alerts telling us that the air quality is really bad, really poor. So we are along the coast, and especially LA and even Central California, Northern California, we're all under this crazy situation with this fog. And that is a whole nother situation to go down and talk about. But right now, I'm going to bring us right over to some hot breaking news with this release. Finally, they say, of the Department of Justice has released Epstein files. And you have to know, I had my whole entire YouTube channel removed for discussing this subject, and also along with President Trump. So I'm not even really sure. So I was going to headline out here with some mainstream media from NBC talking a little bit about it.
Thousands of Epstein files have finally been released. The Justice Department publishing the documents online today, which include a mix of previously public and newly unsealed records, plus never before seen photos. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, has more on what's included in the release and accusations the DOJ broke federal law by withholding some of the documents.
So I guess they got in a little trouble, and they're not releasing all of them. The photos they have out there don't have a lot of context to it. I was just studying up on this just a little bit. And here's CNN fumbling through, what they can share.
Them to our audiences. We're working on that, but please do tell us what you've learned.
Yeah, and we're also going to be cautious about describing what's in the photographs as we're seeing them, given the sensitivities, so many sensitivities around this issue. But what I can say here is,
because of maybe Bill Clinton is in them, and a lot of people that are celebrities. Is that why?
In the data sets that are being put out by the Justice Department, there are many, many photos, and they are stripped of context. They are just images. Many of them do show Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, they would be from the files around him. There are also images of Ghislaine Maxwell. But this is the sort of thing that people will be clicking on, seeing, that you'll see around as people go photo by photo. I mean, some of these, there's clearly hundreds of them. They're posted in dozens of pages of data on the Justice Department.
And I went to the Department of Justice, and you have to do first you have to click some ridiculous thing and tell it that you're not a robot, which is so stupid and ridiculous, especially since AI is so out of the box so much that it's hilarious. And then after that, you have to go through some things that it seems really, unless my new computer is hiding this information, it seems pretty challenging. But The Guardian and many other news outlets did not disappoint us. And here again, I don't even know how. I know on X, I'm live streaming on X, but I'm not sure about how far you can go with showing pictures on some of these other platforms that I'm streaming live on. So I've already seen some stuff with Michael Jackson being in the pictures. I just saw, let's see, they were talking about Diana Ross. Who did I just see that I was like, what? So I scroll through this. Nobody's surprised about this guy right here. And of course, on the left, we're looking at Bill Clinton and Epstein, who is now just, unalived. We do have Ghislaine Maxwell in many of these photos, and she is serving jail time right now, and Trump did not pardon her. A lot of the victims you're going to have redacted, as they call it, and to the left, they go into some commentary with it. But some of these are pretty explicit. It does seem Richard Branson and Jeffrey Epstein in a partially redacted photo here because they're covering up the victims in the background. And then I guess they didn't really release everything. Some of these I might just speed through. Chris Tucker is here with Ghislaine Maxwell, and I went down some of the rabbit hole because I was friends with Liz Crokin. She was in Huntington Beach once upon a time, and we were always hanging out. And back then, years ago, we were doing videos and everything, but she's now moved away from California. And so, I learned a lot about this, and it's really hard to go down these rabbit trails. And I think they know this. Like there's so much in here. And then Liz Crokin is on X, and you can follow her. She has so much information. But what we are learning is that these were not just teenage children. The people in here, these kids were very young. These are young kids, but they're showing, not that, looks like so far, not that. But we have Mick Jagger. I think I skipped through one too fast. David Copperfield, that's what it was. I saw that. So we have Bill Clinton, Mick Jagger, Ghislaine Maxwell, and they don't name the other people in this one. And Michael Jackson is here standing beside him. And I just basically said this on Facebook, and I put this on X. Cloning, please. I think some of these people, of course, this is not discussed in there. This is my view, and I get to have a view, and we can say this is for entertainment purposes only and conspiracy. But I know that there was something else going on besides that angle. There's another thing that they haven't, and they probably never will uncover with cloning and everything. So just because these people are in these pictures doesn't mean they're guilty. And I think that's what they were, basically trying to say. But we do have Chris Tucker again. And who is this? Mick Jagger. A lot of these billionaires, hanging out. And so they really didn't say anything here with that. They just kind of supplied some pictures. So there is a lot of, obviously, so much more to say about this. Let me just I'll get into a little bit of this. I just want to explain some of this because I don't want to forget. So the people that are actually in this, they have documents and their images tied to the Epstein network. I don't have this image pulled up, but I did hear about it. It's circulating with, like I mentioned, Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson, and Diana Ross together. And the photo alone, as I said before, does not prove any wrongdoing because I know Donald Trump was hanging with Epstein for a brief amount of time, and then he kicked out Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, and once he realized what was going on. So just because you're in a picture with something doesn't mean you're guilty. And so it does show that they were in social circles. And so this is what was a lie that we've been told. The public was told that didn't exist. And so There are on the Department of Justice website, that's very easy to get to. You can see these flight logs and records, but these are apparently thousands of pages long. And in these released court records, flight logs, and photographic evidence are referenced repeatedly. And these are not internet screenshots. They are entered into court proceedings. Again, being listed or pictured is not a conviction, but it does raise legitimate questions about who had access to Epstein and how often. So you can go there, and if you wanted to, you could see how frequently those went. Certain people went out to the visit him. And I haven't had the chance to go into that because it is so deep and vast and long. We could run it through AI, I guess. I don't know how truthful it would be, but there's timing and accountability. And I also want to bring up Steve Bannon. I remember when he faced legal consequences in unrelated matters. I think it was J6 related, for refusing to comply with congressional demands. I think he was supposed to give a deposition. He didn't show up to court, and he was arrested. And so this is, you guys, you knew that Bill and Hillary were supposed to testify on December the 19th, and maybe today, somewhere along in this week time frame, but they said they had a funeral to go to and they put that off, and now it's been pushed into January. So this is, we're going to see if they will show up for those depositions that have to do with the Epstein case here. So let me be very clear. This is not about declaring guilt in any of these people. With the pictures I just showed you, this is about accountability, moving fast for some and slowly for others. But these names are appearing in files, and photos do exist. And the flight records are real. So they should give us full transparency, because I heard they did not release all of the documents. So Epstein did not build his world alone. He had many locations, and I've toured online. That is his temple. That was they had the Lolita Express, and then you had the island. But I saw that in depth, and sadly saw too much. Can't talk about it really. Powerful people don't remain protected by coincidence. I think we may or may not see this, but the real question is, why did it take so long for all this to come out? And some people are being protected. I think the elites could potentially be protected, but this is a deep dive that you can, go down the rabbit hole yourself. They've made it public, so you can do it, and you can check it out. Now, let me show you something else. I thought this was funny. Let's see here. Let me go to. I haven't done this in a while, so it's just been a while. This is funny. President Trump has his own website. He is legitimately pushing Big Pharma. This is so funny because I remember when, in the beginning, when I was out, campaigning or, talking about him in the first, election back in 2016, he would even take aspirin, or I know he didn't take the flu shot. And we have him here with his own website. It's called trumprx.gov. And this is going to be for medication for people to get the lowest price. And they're saying it's coming out in January 2026. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. But we have some more serious news than this. That was kind of for some reason, a good laugh for me. He, and I didn't see this break the news much, but this came out on, we've rolled into Saturday by now because it's after midnight. But yesterday on the 19th at 2:57 p.m., he was talking about how we have, because of ISIS, it's hard to say, vicious killing of a brave American patriots in Syria. So American soldiers were actually killed, and I didn't know about that. And he says, "He whose beautiful souls I welcomed home to American soil earlier this week in a very dignified ceremony. I'm hereby announcing that the United States is inflicting very serious retaliation, just as I promised, on the murderous terrorists responsible. We are striking." And I remember getting a notification, I think earlier today, from ABC7 LA, saying that we were doing this. We are striking very strongly against ISIS strongholds in Syria. And so he goes into that. And so I thought, well, let me look up the story. And I found it at the Economic Times here. Let me make sure you can see this. It's coming up somewhat. But the U.S. strikes 70 ISIS sites. They like to use that number a lot. I see 70 very frequently. I don't know if they make this up. I'm just being honest, but I see it all the time. They use certain numbers. But they said 70 ISIS strikes sites in Syria under Operation Hawkeye, as Trump vows very serious retaliation. And so, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know this was going on. There's so much happening. And there's just a massive amount of news happening that is going on. I like to scroll through here and see what's happening with this. Like, Trump's name is hardly mentioned. U.S. Epstein files release highlights Bill Clinton, makes scant reference to Trump. So they're being kind of honest here, huh? And so they show this picture of Trump beside Epstein, and everybody's laughing around him, and they don't tell you when this was or anything. And so they have this article in here. And so the partial release was intended to comply with the law overwhelmingly passed by Congress in November that mandated the disclosure of all Epstein files, despite the Republican president's months-long effort to keep them sealed. They make it sound like it was the Republicans that didn't want to open them up, or sometimes they use the Democrats, and now it's this article, it's the Republicans. The scandal surrounding Epstein has become a self-inflicted political wound for Trump, who for years had promoted conspiracy theories about Epstein to his supporters. And then we've all seen this picture here of, Bill Clinton. And so I don't see Michael Jackson standing as this dude. But I want you to know that Trump has not been accused of any wrongdoing, and he has denied knowing about Epstein's crimes. And I've seen that live. I've seen people say stuff, and I was like, I know he's got to know. And Liz Crokin talks about it all the time, about how they're busting sex trafficking rings all the time. Like, you can go to the Department of Justice. We wouldn't even have all day to look at the rings that they're taking down. So, okay. But they're saying here that Trump has obviously not been accused. And we know that. Let me tell you, if Trump had done anything, do you not think they would have brought this up years ago, especially within the past 2 or 3 or 4 even years? My God, that should just give you enough proof right there. They got nothing on President Trump. They got nothing on him. But the Justice Department sought to draw attention to Clinton, and that is kind of surprising that they really have him out in the forefronts here. He is like really out there. Have you not noticed this? Even if you're not even in like delving down this, and they're like, don't want to pay attention to this, you just can't help but notice that Bill Clinton is everywhere, like all over mainstream media. Perhaps on the news, I just haven't tuned in. The Justice Department sought to draw attention to Clinton, with 2 agency spokespeople posting on social media images that they said showed him with Epstein victims. And that's really not good. So we did not see President Trump in pictures with any victims with their face, redacted. But we are, as I just showed you, seeing lots of Clinton's deputy chief of staff, Angel Urena, said in a statement that the White House was attempting to shield themselves from scrutiny by focusing on the former president. It's funny. I don't know. So Bill Clinton, did he say this? They can release as many grainy 20-plus-year-old photos as they want. But this isn't about Bill Clinton, he wrote. So, yeah, Trump ordered the Justice Department last month to investigate Clinton's ties to Epstein. So they go back and forth with this, right? Isn't this crazy? It's really strange. So, and anyway, there's a lot. Trump voters are frustrated. Many Trump voters had accused his administration of covering up Epstein's ties to powerful figures. And I've heard about this too. So there's people, they just, on both sides ended up saying, release it, let it out. And so this really is this is not just Democrats or Republicans. People just want to see justice, I think. So there's a lot of other things that have been in the news, taking up a lot of time. So we're missing a lot of this. But last month, Democrats in the House of Rep released thousands of emails obtained from Epstein's estate. I didn't even know about this. So there's stuff being released and stuff going on, and a lot of it. So let's see. I might as well just take you back over here and see if President Trump has said anything else since I've been on. He was actually at a rally. He spoke today, like he was supposed to speak at 1, but I think he came on like 3 or 2 or 3, California time. And he was talking about, what was he talking about? Drugs, prices, or I can't even remember. I was trying to tune in a little bit. And then he went to North Carolina, where he was in a rally. And so looks like that was the last thing he did there, last post. And I'm sure there'll be something else as soon as I end my broadcast. So they were talking about how, I heard this, unemployment has ticked up 4.5%. He's saying because we are reducing the government workforce by numbers that have never been seen before. 100% of our new jobs are in the private sector. I could reduce unemployment to 2% overnight by just hiring people into the federal government. So basically, he's just trying to correct the fake news. And that, with that post there. So I am on, I am on X under PromoGirl07. Please go over there and follow me there. And I'm on Facebook under my name, Crystal Myers-Barber, and of course, in YouTube. So it's just really good to be back. I am really excited about coming back and do a lot more videos. There's a lot more I want to talk about besides this subject, because there's just things happening and I just don't want to miss it. So I just pray you guys will stay under the protection of Jesus. He is our only hope right now. I pray for y'all, and I just want to thank you for being there with me. And we're getting ready to approach, Christmas. Jesus is the reason for the season, but for many of us, it's not feeling like Christmas for so many reasons. Many of us have lost loved ones. A lot of people are under the weather, and rightfully so, because of all the destruction happening and things. And so we just have to know that, God has an incredible plan for our life, each and every one of us, and that we were made in his image and in his likeness. And just start with Genesis. Just go to the book of Genesis and just start reading. Chapter 1 is so amazing. It goes right into the firmament. So let's see, remove this. It goes right into explaining where we are, where we live, and where we are right now with the firmament being over us, and how God placed the sun there and the moon and signs and stars, and how just he spoke and he created. It is just so amazing to understand that we are not here by accident. We have a purpose, and that God loves you. He loves you. And, you know, just us being here right now in these end times where we're watching the beast rise up and be built. And then we've got a president that seems to be like bringing it on 100 times faster. I don't know what it is about that, but it's just the strangest thing. He has all these execs around him, all the CEOs of every AI company. I mean, I'm trying to remember all their names. What Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Ellison. I mean, my God, his first day. I didn't want to go into this, but it's just a lot. And I was hoping to do enough research, but I didn't really do enough research for this, but I'm going to just mention it. It does appear that he's building a data center, but they're calling it, a ballroom. That's my part 2. I will be back. Not tonight, but that is going to be my next video. So you want to make sure to follow me, because I'm going to talk about some things that people really aren't talking about. I'm a Trump supporter, but I think we should be talking about some of this stuff. We should be talking about some of the ways that the beast system is being installed and built. And I'm talking about 6G. Like, he was talking about 6G, and we all missed that. There's a little clip about that. And there's things that we need to be talking about besides Candace Owens and Erica Kirk, for God's sakes. I know, and it's important. Charlie Kirk was martyred, okay? And this is a sign of the times. He is dead. He is with Jesus. Right? What I'm saying is, a lot of people don't believe that really happened, but there's so much disinformation going on. We need to really focus, and we need to understand what our calling is, and try to get as much information that we can to fulfill God's purpose for your life, and so that you will understand. And in the Bible, it talks about knowledge. King, was it Solomon? I think it was either him or I'm sorry, it might have been, was it Job? I think it was King Solomon. He said the more he realized, the more he learned, the more knowledge he had of what was really going on, it just made him very sad. It brought sorrow. And that's what some of these topics do with me, especially with the whole Epstein thing. When you really look at the layers, you pull back, what was really going on there. And it's sad. And it's really hard. It's hard. And so you can't put stuff that deep into your spirit very late at night. That's why I didn't really want to go really deep into it, because we're getting ready to rest, and we need to be renewed, and we need to have peace, and we need to sleep well. And so there's a cutoff time really we should have with news at night. And I had a friend that told me, she was like, you should stop at 8 p.m. and maybe 8 p.m. I don't know, but it depends on what time you go to bed. So I was just going to encourage you to, be careful with what you're putting into your spirit, and just pray about everything, and you'll always be okay. So anyway, God bless y'all. May Jesus and his peace be with you. And I really look forward to coming back soon. Have a great night.